I'm trying to make the Instagram go live. It's not, it doesn't like me. There we go. Okay. I think it's working. I don't know. Let's see. Let me check. And then we'll get going. Nope, it's not. I might have messed that up. My bad. I gotta work with that a little bit more. It's a new feature. Um, Hi Paula.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm driving home from Walmart.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try that. Well, I don't think I can fix the Instagram now, so um, it is what it is. So, hi.
I have good news.
Okay.
I found her.
Oh, wonderful.
Yay! I was very excited. She was happy that I found her.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and dive into 2024 in general. And then I have some other charts I've pulled up because it's got everyone's information on it. I'm not going to share my screen because I don't want that to be an issue. So, anyhow, but let's look and go into this. I have no idea how, I'll be honest, for any of you who are watching on Instagram, I do not know how to check the comments on Instagram. So if you're posting, I can pick them up on YouTube and Facebook and all these other platforms. But I don't know how that is. This is my first time streaming on YouTube with this platform. So we will see what happens. Um, I just wanted to kind of warn. Oh, hi. Hello, Brandy. I'm glad you could join us. Okay, so let's go in and start looking at 2024. What I thought would be kind of fun this year is instead of looking at it month by month, which we can do, I was kind of thinking we would also, or maybe only, look at
I'm gonna get my
for like the full moons.
but I really hate to miss.
I'm gonna mute you because you're live on here, and so when you make noise, it is noise for all of us. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive into 2024. So when I'm looking at 2024, this I will show because 2024 is okay. It's showing all these different things, and I'm like, no, just find. There we go. So now you can see my screen here for 2024. And when we're looking at this, I started it as of today. And so when I'm looking sideways, it's because I'm looking at the other screen so I can manage this. Okay, so when we're looking right now, we don't have another moon that's a full moon until the 11th of January. That's when there's going to be a moon transition. So when we're looking here, this I'm not looking at necessarily that transition or that moon. We've got our sun here in Capricorn, and then Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and then we've got Jupiter, Uranus, the moon, Venus, Mercury, and Mars. So obviously, right now, you guys have probably been looking at this Venus, Mercury, Mars combination in Sagittarius, and that's been affecting us on the daily. And so what we're going to do is when we're looking at this from today, look at these three planets being in our sixth house. Okay. So things have been kind of busy, right? And disruptive, lots of things going on. And we are trying to just kind of get through it. And so that's kind of what's been going on. And then a lot of our identity and like looking at the seventh house, a lot of our identity is coming from this place of like methodicalism, if you will. And we're also looking at, there's been some like transitions and some changes going on. And so that's happening in our seventh house, which is about relationships and our one, right? Either your business partner or your life partner and your marriage partner. And then when we go up into the ninth house, we've got Saturn up here. And the reason this is interesting with Saturn in Pisces in the ninth house is it's really focused on learning about things that are spiritual, awakenings, enlightenment, things like that. And so that's kind of like a focus in general. And then when we come back over here and look at Jupiter in the 11th house, it is stationary right now and it is in Taurus. And so it's kind of feeding more of that like harmony and creativity and expanding that way. So when we're looking at as we go forward, I'm going to go ahead and animate the chart now. And when I do this, we're going to go, let's go by month. So when I do this, now we're in the end of January. So actually, that kind of, I don't know about you guys. I want to go weeks. Let's go back. I'm like, hold up. I want to see like the weekly, at least this first month. Then we can start going into months. And so when we are looking at transits that are happening in January 3rd, so this Wednesday, we're going to start seeing some of these. So we still have a lot of this same pattern going on. But now let's go, well, excluding the moon, right? Because the moon travels really fast. So the moon moved into Libra. It's in the fourth house. This is about our families. And then Libra is about that balance, right? And that harmony. And when I'm saying harmony, I'm meaning like the diplomacy here. And so we're looking at it from that direction. And then when we continue looking at the following week, now we can see a lot of change. Not only is this January 10th, which is just before the next moon transition, but we also have all this in the sixth house. So we've got Pluto, we've got the sun, we've got the moon, and we've got Mars. And with all of these situations, they're a little different because it's in Capricorn. Now, Mars is fire. It doesn't necessarily like being in Capricorn because it burns it up, right? It's like Mars is like all this stuff, and Capricorn's like, hey, let's do what's necessary and let's like do a good job. Let's take our time. Let's be methodical about this. And so there's a combativeness there. And you can see that kind of coming out in some of these aspects that are coming around in these other areas of our life. It'll definitely affect this next week into our jobs and having that struggle there. But also on top of that, with the moon and sun here, we're not only feeling and seeing it and projecting it, but it's very much that Capricorn energy, right? And so our daily lives, our day in and day out, is going to be a little challenged. These aren't close enough necessarily for the moon to, or I'm sorry, not the moon, the sun to completely burn up the moon. Them being this close is just complementing, because when you think about this, the moon and its impact on us is pretty significant as far as like how it comes and goes with us. And then Pluto offering some changes. So when we've got this need and this desire, we're looking for stability. We're looking to be able to take our time, but we're challenged with that Mars. And so some of this energy is combative. We're balancing this with our learnings, our travels, and things like that. Oh, hey, Brandy, you're also on YouTube. Yep. Hi. And so we're seeing this come out in our careers. We're seeing this come out from our 10th house. We're seeing this come out in our 9th house, and the 6th house is about our jobs. So the combination of these things is causing a situation where we do have a little bit of a struggle because we're really, really focused. We want to be focused. We take pride right now in what we're doing. And it's a little hard to do sometimes when we've got like the Mars coming in here and the Pluto coming in here. So that's kind of what's going on next week. Plus we've got the moon transition, right? And so when you're looking at the moon transition here in the Capricorn, we already touched on that, but you're going to be looking at things that are more long-term goals, which is funny because I think on the 11th, I'm teaching a workshop on goal setting. So I guess that will be like what everyone's going to be focused on. So now let's move in to, oh, you know what? I just realized your screen is not, hold on. Let me stop my screen share. I shared it wrong. And so you're not getting um, the whole thing. 1 second here. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Okay, there we go. Hey, Stephanie, I see that you're backstage. Would you like to be on the stage with me? Okay. Now we can hear you. Hi. Paul is hanging out too. For those of you, just you know, like the people that are in Fireside, they're kind of popping up all over the place, but they were invited to be here if they wanted. So, hi.
Hello.
Oh, what did Brandy say? I thought something was off. I logged onto my work laptop so I could see a bigger screen. Oh, that's so funny. I'm so sorry, Brandy. Yeah, it was me. It's fixed now. It's because it like sets like security settings so you don't see everything. And I don't remember that it does that. I just think that it just shows everything. So back to the chart of what I'm actually talking about. So when we are going through here, we're going on the 17th of January. So now we still have a lot of the same energy, but our moon has moved into Aries. So when we back it up, let's do this. So when we look here at the 11th of January, what we're looking at is, I'm trying to get my other screens to pop up. Sorry. There's only so many screens I can follow.
I feel like I missed a lot.
Not really. Like I was like struggling a little bit in the beginning to set up. So we're still in January. Don't even worry.
Awesome.
So, but we got what I was doing was backing up to January 11th because this is when we have a new moon. And so this particular moon is going to be in Capricorn. And when we're looking at the new moon in Capricorn and we have the sixth house, that's about our job and our day in and day out type of lives. And so as we're looking at this, I have like another screen that just opened up. Thanks. Okay. So when we're looking at this, this is very much this particular moon, there we go, is very much focused on our health and our well-being and getting organized, right? Like I was saying, like that was kind of some of that Capricorn energy, but that's also part of the sixth house energy. And so it's very much like out with the old and with the new, which is perfect because every January the moon does align perfectly with the timing of what we're doing. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to the foundation of your life. And when you're setting your goals for the year, be looking at like these more long-term goals for like the whole year, not just the month. And be like prepared to restructure and repair anything in your life that has not been working for you. And especially when it comes to financial matters, you want to make very, very solid plans. So hopefully that helps. I rather actually, if you guys don't mind, I would rather continue going through the chart as the moon phases. What do you think, Stephanie? I'd rather do that.
I think that it works out really well because we always focus on the phases more than anything. And
Right.
it's such an integral part of what we're trying to accomplish every month in Fireside. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Let's just do that then. Because I totally agree. I think that it's like so much when we're looking at the new moon, it has this impact on us for so many days afterwards, for 5 days before and 5 days after. Same with the full moon, 5 days before and 5 days after. And when we're really looking at these changes and things to focus on this year, I think that that's just the easiest way to go about it. So January 11th is the new moon. Now let's look at, and the let's look at the full moon. Now, when we're looking at the full moon, instead of trying to share my screen, I'm going to start typing in dates here, because that's going to be a lot easier for you guys and a lot quicker. January 25th is the next full moon. So now let me share my screen so you can see what it looks like. So here we've got the full moon in the first house in Aries. So I know you took some astrology classes, Stephanie. So if you have anything to add, feel free. But when we're looking at this and we've got this moon here in Aries, it's very much like the first house is focused on our identity, right? And like how we are. In this case, it moves very quickly through this zodiac and is kind of like brief, but it is a very auspicious time. This is a good moon. And I'm not saying that other moons are bad, but this will go like very auspicious for you. You can focus on your own health and your happiness. This is mainly about our emotional well-being here in this situation. It could also indicate like maybe you should go get some checkups, right? Maybe this, because you can see that it is working across here with the sixth house. So you might want to be looking at like your health and get like a physical or anything you've been putting off, get that taken care of. And either way, like the moon is going to trigger some impulse as well, because it's in this first house and being in that fire sign. So being in Leo, you just have this light that happens. Like you just light up, everything is fun. Being creative, childlike, social, really enjoying life, and probably not taking care of chores or anything that is all that Capricorn energy we just left. So when you're looking at this moon, kind of look at it that way and notice that some of these other aspects are showing up in other areas. So like you might have like responsibilities at work up here in the 10th house, or like some public showings and viewings of yourself. And it's going to be kind of hard because you just want to go play and you want to be taking care of you and focusing on you. And that's what this is all about, is you. This moon is you, and it's the full moon.
Is it also like a time where, like, because it's part of your health and that mind body connect, to really focus on your spiritual practices? Would that be part of that as well?
It definitely is a piece right now, because when you look over here at the 8th house and Pisces, you've got that going on with Saturn being focused on it, and you can trace the energy there. But I wouldn't say that it's like a driver.
Not a driver, just a part, because you're focusing on you. It's just kind of like, I'm not doing all of it, I'm doing some of it.
Yeah, it's all well-being and on you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know like all my classes in January, all of them are about all these things, which is so funny. I mean, I do look at the astrology, but I did not look at the moons when I was picking the courses and the dates for January. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And it is like a lot of spiritual talks. So let's see. The next new moon is February 9th. So let's type that in here. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm typing around a dog. And it's actually, oh, that is an evening time. Okay. So when we're looking now, our full moon in February on the 9th went into Aquarius. And so when we're looking at this in the 7th house, the moon is, or the 7th house is our marriage and partnerships. So this is your business partner, your your personal partner, any type of relationship you have that is a one-to-one intimate relationship, and you're living together. That's why it's like a business partnership too, because you live in that business together. So when we're looking at this, contracts and agreements, things like that, this is a really good time for that in the relationship. So if you need to redesign contracts or maybe set out some agenda items or things for the year, this is what you would want to be doing in February. It's a very auspicious time for relationships. And it's spending time with your partner, business or personal, either one, it's going to benefit you in the long run for the year. Now, when we look at the moon is all about the opposite. The moon being in Aquarius is hobbies, clubs, groups, things that demand your attention and demand it like right now. And so it's a good time if you're thinking about networking, doing co-ops or joining any groups. This is when you would want to be doing that, because when you're going into it, you're going to have the energy to it. And especially if you're doing it along humanitarian experiences and events, because that's very Aquarius. So that would be a good thing to do here in February. And again, that's the new moon. So this is when you start new things. That's why I'm saying like starting these groups or joining these groups. That would be a good thing. Now, February 24th is when we go, oops, that didn't work. There we go. February 24th is when, sorry, moving dogs, we go into a full moon. And again, this is when we like let things go. We release things that no longer serve us and just kind of clean house from all this transition we had the prior. So when we're looking at this, this is hitting our first house again. And this is definitely, again, an auspicious time, always on new moons. And you can create your new focus, again, all about you. This is very much about you. But when we look at it with this Virgo, now it's time to be serious, like organize things, tidy things up, time to do chores. So like 5 days before, you're going to just get antsy and start pulling apart your house, your car, all like your work files, your computer, and organize things. And then as we get to the 5th, it's going to continue and get, or the 5th day is what I mean. And it's going to get really strong by the time we hit the 24th. And then it starts to kind of weigh. Now, this would be a good time if you did want to start a routine that serves the purpose of you and that you energy. So this might be a good time if you are wanting to be more detailed with your finances for the year and setting up some type of an organizational system you can follow for the year. This might also be a really good time to start a gym membership, right? You're going to be able to carry that energy into the new moon. You still like, and then but by starting this, now you'll be able to be focused on your health, because again, we're still over here working in the health area. And you can see we still have 3 planets over here in the 6th house, which has a big impact on our everyday, our jobs and our health, right? Okay. Next one is March 10th. And this will be a new moon. Whoops, I forgot to hit the key. Okay. So March 10th, the moon is in the 8th house, and this is the new moon in Aries. So when we're looking at this, invest time and money with other people, but do it wisely. And other people are going to be doing this with you as well. So money is going to kind of flow during this time. And in addition to it, the time you spend with other people is going to increase. So someone who might have called you, like, a friend that calls you, and usually your phone call is only like 5, 10, 15 minutes. It might be an hour during this time, right? You're investing in each other. And that's what this 8th house is about. Now, when we go into looking at the Aries, this is where like starting something new is going to be massive. So if there's anything that you're just like, oh, this is such an undertaking, you have that energy now to do it, because wait, what's that Candace said? Like us. Yes. Candace, you're so funny. Yes. You guys, I'll let Candace put it if she wants, but she just published a book and it's fabulous. I'll be sharing it in Fireside and you'll probably see it on the website. I'm super excited about her book. It's been a an ongoing thing. And so I'm like, woo. Anyways, so new projects here on March 10th. And exercise your patience and selflessness during this time wherever you can, and look for new opportunities. Now, when I say this, it's because some people, like, firesides kind of have this rap of like just being the bulldozer that comes in the room and is kind of like a dominating personality and sucks everything up. The reality is fire signs are super, super compassionate, passionate, and loving. Oh, you're welcome, Candace. But they're very, very invested in other people, and they matter a lot to them. They can act like very much like nonchalant, but they're not when it comes to relationships. So think about that with this energy we've got coming on, about that selflessness where possible, because you're going to reap the benefits from that as we continue on. Oh, I don't know if you saw it, Candace, but Brandy says congrats. Okay, so now let's move to the next one. We're going to do March 25th, which is a full moon. Okay, and when we look at this one is actually at midnight. So we're going to change this. So this moon is landing here in the 12th house. So the 12th house is all about retreating, right? Being isolated, reflecting, healing. There's a lot going on when we look at the 12th house. And so take the time to rest, take the time to reflect on this whole, it's March, the end of March. Take this time to reflect on the first quarter. And keep in mind, if you are a journaler, you will be shocked at how much you will get done this first quarter, this time of year, or this year in 2024. It's going to be a lot. But make sure you're meditating, you're taking walks in nature, you're doing your practices. If you've skipped other moon practices, this would be a great one to make sure that you definitely are involved in, because this full moon, you can release a lot. There's going to be so much noise this first quarter. A lot of it self-generated, and you're going to push yourself. And so before you break, retreat and honor this moon. And so when you're looking at this, it's perfect in Libra. It's all about peace and harmony. Focus on your relationships that are close to you. You can see that this is trining over here in the 7th house. Like, take care of your business partners, take care of your marriage partners and your intimate partners, and any other like pursuit of a potential relationship. So if you aren't in any of these relationships, this is a really good time to be able to get into one or start the pursuit of it. Socialize. So when you retreat, don't just cut off the world. You need to socialize and feed your soul that way, right? We need each other to interact and engage and to feed us. So also, it's a really good time for artistic things. And so if you are a painter, dancer, singer, drawer, writer, whatever it is, like however you get your creativity out, this is a really good time to do it. For business people, this is a good time to get like all your social media done, all your blog posts done, all your videos, whatever it is you create, funnels, websites, get all of it done. You'll have the energy to do it. So this is a really good time. Okay, so that's the March moon. Now let's go into April for the new moon on the 8th. And this one is at, let's get the time in here, 11:20 a.m. Now, keep in mind that these times are my time zone in Pacific Standard Time. And so you might need to look at the date time calendar for the moon phases for your area to get the exact times. I always use the exact times I'm with. So look at this. Look at this. So good thing you spent all that time reflecting.
That's action-packed.
Right? Could you be any more public right now? Any more public? No. Okay, Stephanie, I'm really going to be curious to see what this looks like for you on your chart. You
I'm
can follow
dying to know because because usually like it's really cute because just to recap, when we're looking from like February to March, and I'm like, oh my God, April is a hot mess. And March is preparing you for like tax time, right? It's total chaos. Of course, you're going to get all the things done. For you to make that deadline, get it done, not stress out, or file that extension.
Oh my
If you're
God,
that kind
don't.
of person.
I am that person. I actually am being good this year. I already have started collecting. I have piles everywhere of all the paperwork I started collecting to put into the spreadsheet. I hate paperwork. Candace can tell you, I hate paperwork.
I get it done, and it's by the skin of my teeth, and we made a pact. So the Virgo and the Pisces made a pact that every week we're going to chew at it a little so that the Virgo isn't having like the marathons of doing paperwork and
Yeah,
going,
yeah, for reals.
anyway,
Yes.
let's continue. I can't wait to see the
I
general.
can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be a mess. Not, but I mean, just like look at all those Aries in here. Like that's so much. And we have 4 of our main planets here. And then we've got, another 2 that are really important over here in the 9th house. And we at least have Jupiter and Taurus that is going to give us a little reprieve. But when we are looking at this moon here in Aries in the 10th house, this is a prominent point for us, right? This is a public area for us. It's very auspicious for careers in the United States during this time. And so you're likely to have more visibility, and you might even find yourself either in or desiring a more public facing role. And so when you're looking at this, keep that in mind and see that this moon is also aspecting your own like first house here. And so wherever that is in your chart will depict how this turns out for you. But keep that in mind when you're looking at this. This is a good time to start new projects, specifically around your career. Maybe you've had an idea that's been waiting. This would be a good time to have that bubble up. You definitely are going to need to be patient. And again, it's that fire sign. So looking at other people, but new opportunities are going to bubble up in this time. And it could be a variety of things depending on how this shows up in your chart. This could be a career change. This could be a promotion. This could be just a new project that you're excited to do. Or maybe you finally got to do that one thing you really had been wanting to do at work. And they're like, yes, go do that. We need it now. And so it's a good time to like share those ideas and that creativity that's been boiling inside you. Okay, so that was the new moon. Now let's look at April 23rd. Also, I should note while I'm typing this in February and March, February 24th and March 25th. Actually February. So in February and March during the moons, both new and full, those are super moons. So that means that the energy is even stronger. And I should have mentioned that before, because on April 8th, this moon we just talked about, it's also very strong. So when you're looking at these types of things, we've already seen that. We've been told we need to get our finances in order. We need to get our relationships in order. Now we've got our career getting in order. So you can see that like how we're getting set up for the year, all that in just first quarter. So now when we look at March 23rd, we go back to a normal full moon, and this one is in the evening. So let me update this. Okay. So on this one, it's landing in our second house, which would make sense. It's an evening full moon. So it's a little more below the horizon, as we know, is more private. So even though it is a full moon, we're going to take this one a little internally. And so when we're looking at this, first, let's look at the second house. The second house is representing our like actual like spending ability, not our overall wealth, our spending ability, like the money we earn from our jobs. It also is our possessions, things that we like and enjoy and bring comfort around us. And so you might have a tendency to spend money during this time. And so it's not a bad thing because it is during a moon, which is usually auspicious. So we don't have to worry about that. But you're going to be looking at things that are more around comfort versus beauty, right? Like sometimes we'll see that with like Libra, and we got that Venus energy where it's like, no, I need a pretty pillow, right? Like I need this really gorgeous blanket or this new makeup, whatever it is. In this time, we're looking at comfort. It's kind of that Scorpio energy. And you're going to be thinking deeper on life and contemplating things in life. And so when we're doing that, you're going to want to be avoiding conflicts and kind of really be internal and very focused on your intuition, because you can see this comes out and it's aspecting some of our midheaven. It's definitely aspecting our 8th house and our 5th house. And so when we're looking at these aspects and how they're working together, you definitely are with it aspecting the 5th house. That is literally your casa. And so that is about like, what comforts can you put into your home that are going to be really good during this moon? Or because it's a full moon, what can we get rid of that's not comfortable anymore, right? Like this is a good time to purge. I was talking to someone about this yesterday, about how when you keep your clothes, for example, like everyone, in January in America, we all decide to go on diets. And I shouldn't say we all, but a good portion of people all get into fitness, diets, all these different things. And so you end up with all these clothes. And when you look at your closet, don't keep anything that you're like, someday I'll fit back into that, right? If it's been in there for 4 freaking years and you have not gotten back into it, now what is it doing? Now it's probably generating negative emotions and feelings, nothing motivating you. And so purge. I actually, and that's why the conversation came up as we were going through someone's closet and purging. And it was like, wow, I haven't worn this in 6 years, but I love the fabric, but it does remind me of these other things. And so it's like, yeah, like get rid of it. Like don't keep it. It's not going to be any good for you. So when you're looking through your house and looking at comfort, like, is there a chair you don't even use in the house because no one likes it?
Not even that. I mean, like, going back to, like, just an object, like, well, I'm trying not to be wasteful, and I really like this thing, but it has the bad feelings of a friendship you no longer have. I gave this advice to a friend about a month ago, and I said, listen, you really need to get rid of whatever harbors bad energy.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you told me this, because I was looking at the jersey the ex-boyfriend gave me with my name on it, and I just don't want to get rid of it because I love. And I said, well, does it give you better? She's like, no, throwing it out. I'm not even donating it. And she threw it out. And another friend's like, I would have worn it. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And it's such a great practice because you're liberated from them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got to get rid of that. This is a good time to do it on April 23rd. If you haven't done it yet.
That's right.
Okay. And then let's look at the next one in May 7th. Whoops. Oh, I hit a hotkey. Sorry. Okay. And this one, is at 1 a.m. Oops. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Come on. I am just a whole time right now. Okay. There we go. May 7th, 1 a.m. on the dot. Okay. So I totally grabbed the wrong time. That is May 7th at 1 a.m., but that's not when the full moon is. I'm sorry, I put in the wrong time. Thank you. Why? Oh, I should look at my keyboard. Okay, I'm going to look at my keyboard. Sorry. You would think I would figure this out by now.
At least it's working.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's working, but it just keeps defaulting.
I didn't break it, I promise.
Right? It's just because you're on the live. Now I'm
okay, I'm sorry. I'll take the blame. It's me.
right. Okay. So and now it converted back to April. Good grief. This is like real-time issues. It's because I can't really see my keyboard that well. And the funny thing is I actually don't even I don't look at my keyboard, but I don't know. I'm just having issues today. Okay. So now we got this right. Good grief. New moon, May 7th. Okay. So we're all packed in again. Right. And so when we're looking at this moon in Taurus in the 7th house, let's first look at that. That's that relationships, those marriage, those business partnerships. So again, this is a really good time to, if you need to reconsider contracts or going into new contracts, this is another good time to go into contracts. And it's good times for relationships. Obviously, we have like a heightened emotion during full moons and new moons. And this is one of those. And so spend time together with your partners so that you make sure that you guys are set up for the next several months again. Now, when we're looking at it in Taurus, it's all about that routine that you need to establish and sticking to it. It's the time for stability and security. And so when you're looking at these relationships, think on that, right? It's not ideal for new activities, not starting something new. So consolidate anything that's existing that you've created over the first 5 months of the year. Consolidate anything that you've already created or those things that, like don't need to be so complex. Maybe you figured out a way to do it easier and you need to just kind of like botch the old system and use this new one. But then when you're looking at your partnerships, like maybe this has changed. Maybe it's because of someone's statement of work has changed. The family dynamics have changed. Maybe you have an opportunity for a new, I guess, like, what do I want to say? Like a new way of like operating the business, right? Maybe there's a new software. Maybe there's something that's come out technology wise you want to implement. Excuse me.
More efficiency?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying? Okay.
So like it might be a good time. Like you don't want to create a new activity. Like, so for example, like with me, I wouldn't want to create a new course in May. I would want to evaluate all my courses and make sure that they're all buttoned up and correct, right? Which would make sense because in all these months in this year, I have like 4 to 5 courses that are new coming out every single month. And so when we're looking at that, instead of going, oh, I'm going to create 8 more courses, I'm just going to hold still and look at what I've done. And then maybe I integrate like AI into it. Maybe I turn it into something in the app. Maybe I do something with that, but not create something new. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I know because like you guys with your business, it would be the same way. Like you're not going to go out and buy a new tool for a new way of doing something in this time.
No, it would be like, oh, the thing we need broke. Okay, let's replace the thing. This will make things work better with the tool we have. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But the whole like, we're not buying a new toolbox. We don't need a new tool. Is it working? Are we efficient? Yeah, sure, but we're not getting a giant one to put in another room. No.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how this is. Okay, so where'd my mouse go? There we go. Okay, now let's look at May 23rd. Oh, come on. Okay, looking at May 23rd, it is. See, before it was working and now it just does not like me. I can't just type it in. have to be very, very exact. There we go. Okay. So when we look at May 23rd, this is a full moon and it is all out here by itself. So that's going to tell you, and like looking at the strength of this moon is going to tell you how it's going to operate, right? Like if the moon is strong or if the moon is weak, you're always going to want to look at like outliers like that. But this one is a lot being projected in one focal point. And so when we're looking at this, and looking at partnerships, looking at the fact that it's in Sagittarius, it's going to be expanding your mind, right? That's what it's going to be focusing on, creating space for adventure and excitement, things that are new. You might try new ways of doing things. It could be as simple as like, you've been taking the same hike for several months now, and you're like, you know what, this weekend, or this week, I guess it's Thursday, but whatever. You're going to try some other new place. Like you're going to try a new path. You're going to try these different things and aim very high when you're doing this. You can. And it's all about broadening your horizons and in the relationship, right? And so maybe you reevaluate the goals so far this year and you go, okay, we're 6 months in. Or how's it going? Do we need to make transitions? Do we need to pivot? Like, do we need to like implement anything else? Like, what's something we haven't thought of, right? That last question is probably the most important. What is something we haven't thought of? Because this is a good time to expand and learn, see what other people are doing. Maybe in your relationship, this is a really good time to take a short trip. That is something that you guys have been wanting to do, but you haven't, right? You definitely have Pluto supporting. You definitely have like that 12th house, like reclusion with a lot of energy there. So this is a very good time for that intimacy and that connection. And so maybe you take your own little mini retreat together, in whichever partnership that it may be. My husband would kill me if I took a retreat with him and just talked about business. He'd be like, again, really? Do we ever not take a business trip? And I'd be like, no. Let's see. Whoops. Where'd my mouse go? Let's change the time. This one is 05:37 a.m. Okay. Holy cow. Let me double check that. Yeah, that's legit. Okay. So I'm going to say we're all very self-centered in June. Oh my gosh. And
I love how this day is just filled with like calamity. We were married on that day, and I looked at my husband. I said, you know, we didn't pick this date. Your Mima did. And I'm like, we're getting married on D-Day? So just a little perspective. It's D-Day.
That's your D-Day. Nice. That's funny. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, here you go. Being in the first house, it is very focused on you, right? So it's going to be, again, like your world and everything about you, your physical body, being physical here, human being in this realm, and how you're doing that with your physical activities. Maybe this can also trigger, actually, you know what? This is a very good time to drop bad habits. If you have a habit you've been trying to drop, this is a good time to do it. And you have the universe behind you on that. So let go of any bad habits and adopt new habits to fill that. And that will be good for you. Now, this being in Gemini, it's going to be filled with a lot of ideas. Don't burn yourself out. Make the most of this opportunity or most of this time of the opportunities that come along your way, because there will be opportunities that open up. Look at all those planets. Like everything is in the first house, damn near. There's 2 planets that are important that like are personal planets that aren't in the first house. Everything is personal. your communication, your feelings, your identity, the things you find beautiful, your luck. Everything is in this house at this time, your creativity. So this is a really good time for all these opportunities to open up. Don't feel like you have to take all of them. Be discriminative on what ones you decide to take. And communication is going to be very key for everyone going through this time. You're going to really want to make sure, like, as you're bringing in all this new, that you're communicating with other people, using them as soundboards. Maybe you're getting ideas and opportunities from them. Who knows? It depends on your own personal chart. I mean, Stephanie, obviously, this being the day that you guys got married, like, this could be pretty transformational for you guys in like that communication area. What, like, you are already talking about making major changes this next year in your family. And so this would definitely be a good time to like check in on that and see where that's going for you and what those changes are. Because no matter what, when we look at how it's interacting with Pluto, there's change, right?
And in my mind, I already like knew that this time frame is that time where like there's huge change going on. Sorry, my daughter's like experiencing like the last few days have been like insane for her. It's like, who are you? She's like retaliating. But I always felt like it's such a strange time weather-wise too, because during this time in like 2009, it was raining down here for over 30 days and up in Pennsylvania too. We were married up there, and we were all like, oh my God, it's sunny. The only day we're getting married. There's something so magical about that day on the calendar, either be it good or bad, but strange stuff happens all the time. And I always take note. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I
and
see
now
you.
we're new moon.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's look at the full moon. Oops. Let's see, June 21. And this one is in the evening. Really? Oh. Yeah, I don't know why you diverted. Let's try this again. Oh, it's not picking up the, I see. Oh my gosh. I swear to God, I'm not normally this bad with the computer.
You're not. You're usually great. I'll take the blame.
It does not want to change for me. It's changing all on its own. That's why it started an animation. Okay. And again, you'd think at this point I'd have it memorized. Okay. Phew. All right. In the third house. Okay. Oh, and Capricorn again. We started out there. Okay. So when we're looking at this one, this is a regular full moon. And when we're looking at this with the third house of the moon, we go into communication. So we're kind of carrying over that Gemini new moon going into the third house of communication. So it's all going to be about negotiations, contracts, listening, and learning. And so that's really going to be this third house. You also, as far as like the Capricorn energy, it's going to be focused on consolidation. It's going to be, again, that foundations of your life, but consolidating and repairing, restructuring. And again, Capricorn always brings us back to like, hey, you need to look at your finances, make sure your finances are in order, and then solid planning. It's a great time to make plans that stick. So that's what we'd be seeing with the Capricorn on June 21st. And then let's go to July 5th. And then this one is 15:57 p.m. Why? Why do you not like me? I did an update to the software before we started today. And now I'm like, oh,
It's having a big moment.
it really is. It really is. I guess I shouldn't be so exact with my time. We should just estimate. I think that's what most people do anyways. I'm just can't help it. What? All right, we are going to go with this. I'm tired of it. It's just
Okay.
it's being weird. Okay. So when we're looking at this, the moon is in the 8th house. And so when we're looking at this is about, again, those other people spending time together, finances together, being wise about what we're doing with who, when, and how much. This is also a time when you might be getting finances from other people. And so it could be a very auspicious time, more than usual financially for you. And then it's definitely, though, with that Cancer, it's about your immediate family, your home, those that are like your family now, and definitely nurturing them and nurturing yourself. It shows some, for those of you who have siblings, it definitely is interacting with the siblings in a positive way, supportive, helping them on their journey. It's definitely also showing up in some other areas about our own identity and being able to have fun with this time. I mean, I shouldn't say this time. The way that came out is easily to interpret a different way. So fun during this time is really what I'm trying to say. And don't worry as much as like there's going to be opportunities to have some fun while you're working with your immediate family. So that one is the new moon. Maybe you guys start a new tradition. Maybe it's like this is when you start doing, I know some people do like family dinners. I live in the middle of nowhere. I don't do that. So oops. Seems, let's see, 3:17. Likes the AMs better. Okay, so this is a full moon in Capricorn again in the 7th house. So we already know this is our partnerships and our marriage. We have a lot of moons in partnerships and marriage. Do you think this is going to be a big wedding year? Because I do. Lots of weddings and divorces.
I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah. There's going to be new business ventures in partnership. There's going to be businesses ending, new marriages, all kinds of stuff. Okay. So we got that down. And again, it's Capricorn. So now it's again those finances being consistent and stable. Capricorn is such like a methodical sign that its core is work. Capricorn loves work. And so when you look at this, looking at the full moon here, like you're going to work on all the Capricorn moons, and you're going to be digging in them. Oh, I'm sorry. Brandy says, what is the date? Oh, I'm sorry. The date is July 21st. And then, oh, for the new moon. The new moon, it was in June. The new moon in June is the 6th, June 6th. Oh my gosh, you're a year of purpose and love, right? I love that. It really is. Like, this is going to be a crazy year. I know it is for me. I already looked at all my stuff. Oh, whoops. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Brandy. No problem. Okay. So again, we're on that full moon. And so in this situation, I would be looking at things at now, this far into the year. We're over halfway through, coming into the second year or second half of the year. And when we're looking at this and you look at how these planets and this energy are spread out, I would say when you are coming into this one, look at focus. Where are the distractions? Get rid of those. And it's going to be hard because you've got a lot of scattered energy, but it really has been, like we have seen for 6 months of the year now, the focus of this year. So keep that in mind. Now let's go into August. August 4th is the new moon. And it is pretty close to that time, so we'll stick with it. Okay, so we've got a Leo again. So now when we're looking at this, we've had a lot of time to process the last Leo moon, but that one was in the first house. So now we're looking at this in the second house. And again, this comes back to our jobs, our possessions, our things, right? This is very, very, the second house is such a human experience. That's how I always look at it. It's just, and it's directly across, right? So like there's the human experience and the universal experience or enlightened experience, however you want to word that. But when we're looking here, this is a very much our human experience. And in the human experience, we're looking at this with finances being auspicious because it is about our things and collecting things. And again, when we've got that fire, last time I guess it was in a water sign, but this time with the fire, we're looking at different things like bringing in that so think that Leo, that childlike behavior, creativity, good time Charlie, always having fun, being out there front and center, also very loyal, right? So like some of these things are paying off now from that energy, and it's wanting to be expressed as well. And so maybe it's a lot of gratitude. In addition to this, when we're looking at this, it's about lighting up your life. And this is specifically coming across spiritually. It's coming across in your friends and social life, and maybe in some expansive learning, but it's definitely going to be, this would be correlating with a lot of spiritual, like awakening, enlightenment, or not astrological. There's a word I'm looking for and I can't think of it, but expansion, definitely in the spiritual realm and your belief systems and expanding there and learning new ones. So that's kind of what's going on there. We haven't actually seen that. We saw that a lot in 2019 and 2022, or all the way through 2022. But this is really the first hard hit, I would say, in 2024 on that. I think it's just we've been living in chaos or I shouldn't even say chaos. It became the new norm, right? But now we're kind of being challenged to go back to business. We're being very human. Let's see, that is AM. Okay, so August 19th is the full moon. This is also a super moon, so it's even closer. So you're going to feel this one pretty hard. This is in the 5th house. So this is about our home, our actual physical casa, and where we're spending our time. This is a really good time for romance, either a new romance or re-invoking the one you have and sparking that back up. It's a very good time for playfulness and enjoying your life. It could be a new phase in life too. You will find that around this moon, there's going to be, because I call it a new moon, this full moon, there's going to be a lot of births. So a lot of babies are going to be made and happen on this day or around this day. And so this could also be a time where your home itself changes. And so depending on how it shows up in your chart, this could be a time to move. Or it could be just a massive, massive change in your life. You've got that Aquarius energy that is very demanding. And so this could be, group efforts. It could be your whole family packing the house if you're moving, right? If it is a new person in the family, it could be everybody coming around that new life you just brought into this world. It could be also like maybe your whole relationship in your marriage or business completely changes during this time for the better. It's a very auspicious time. So don't think of it as necessarily like getting rid of things as much as you're receiving the benefits of things that you have done. And now you can play. And so when you're looking usually on the moons, especially the full moons, we're purging. So when we look at what it is we're going to purge, What are we going to purge? Those relationships that no longer serve us, those things that no longer serve us. We're going to be looking at things from a broader perspective too, because of that Aquarius with that humanitarian energy. So you might have been in a group the last time we had an Aquarius full moon, and now you're like, okay, now I'm over that group. I need to go. I've outgrown them. I'm ready to move on to a new one. Or maybe you take a new chapter in it and have like a more formal role. Don't know, right? It depends on your own personal chart. But that's kind of how this moon is going to happen. And so now let's look at September. September 2nd is the new moon. And this one is in the evening at 18:55. And I know I have a problem with the PMs. So we'll type, wow, you really hate me.
It is not happening.
Oh, it doesn't like the military time, which is so weird because I wasn't using military time. I was using military time before. Hold on. Okay, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Shoot. I usually use military time, so I don't know what the problem is.
You updated it.
It is. It's probably something in the update, and I just can't figure it out. What's that? Oh, there we go. Okay, that's good. Okay. So, oh man, again, partnerships. This is crazy. Okay, so but at least this time it's a partnership in Virgo. And so this is, it's a new moon. So keep that in mind. This could be a situation where in a partnership, there are some new boundaries being established, some new routines, some new possibilities. Like essentially, like maybe, like think of it this way. Maybe previously all your silverware was in these little containers on the counter, and they just kind of like flailed, but they were in their little containers. And now, because of this Virgo energy of wanting to organize things, now these silverware is going to be in a silverware drawer, and they're all going to be very methodically stacked and organized and together, right? Now it's usually the other way around because it's Virgo energy, and Virgos hide things like that are messy, but you can kind of get the idea of yeah, sometimes, Stephanie, I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, you're Virgo.
I try to hide it, and it's kind of like I like that analogy because I lost a fork, and it's very like goes to a set, and I'm like, great, now I'm losing one fork. How do you solve this problem? Where is it? Do I lose my mind looking for it, or do I just try to replace it? And immediately it's like that little voice in your head. It's like, just replace it, move on. Don't try to find it. It wasn't your chaos. It's hiding for a reason.
I have to tell you this because you would appreciate it. So I had this gorgeous set of silverware that I had for years, and it was like this really nice Mikasa stuff I liked. And over the years, the kids would I would get other people's dishes back when the kids went out, like when they were in high school. But when they were in elementary school, I would find like the big spoons in the yard because they were like burying things and digging things up. And so then in high school, the silverware got swapped between houses. And then now, they're all in college or married and have family, like they're all grown up. And so when we moved here, I made the decision that we were replacing all the silverware because I wanted matching silverware.
I remember.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing is when I got the matching silverware, every piece of silverware has a different pattern on it. The matching is that the fact that they're all nature images. And so like you might get one with a deer on it or a fish or a flower or, like a moon or, it's like all these different things. And so now if one's missing, it's unfortunate because I really do notice it because it's like only 3 years old now. And I'm like, we're short on spoons. Mike, do you know where the spoons are? I've noticed that there's spoon shortages. And he's just like, which one? And I'm like, I don't know. I can just tell because there's not 16 spoons in there. So anyways, it's very funny.
I have a solution. You look up the pattern and then you make sure you have a picture of it. And that way, when you find the one you're missing, you just order the replacement so that you don't go crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have them bookmarked. because they're a US made silver company. And so I intentionally had done that. And then I was like, perfect. If I ever lose one, I know where to go. So anyways, funny story about silverware.
Virgo problem.
Yeah. So when you're looking at this moon, look at it that way of like you're tidying and organizing, but you're doing it as a partnership, right? And so again, that'll be your business, your relationships and marriages. And again, when we have Virgo, the Virgo full moons, and this one specifically being a new moon, great time to start something new, because with Virgo, it's going to be laid out very well, and so that you'll be more successful. So keep that in mind. It's a good time to start new things. The full moon lands on the 17th, and this one, this one is because it doesn't like the PM times. I'm going to do it for it. Okay. So when we're looking at this moon on the 17th, this is the full moon. It is a super moon as well. We have a couple more super moons throughout the year too, after this one. So this is a super moon. And when we're looking at this, the 10th house, again, this is where you're very, very public. You're out there in the eye. And you've got the Pisces energy there too. So when you're out there and you're being so public, even if it's for this brief time during this moon, keep in mind, just take it a little slower, observe, and be very aware of the subtleness of life, because you've got Pisces in there. What is being told to you? What are you seeing? What are you witnessing? What are you experiencing? You're going to have some creativity. You're going to have some spirituality, philanthropy, artsy stuff. But really, really bring your self-awareness high, be meditating, using your intuition, because during this time, it's a really good time for you to be able to experience things on a whole different level. So that is definitely a pretty cool full moon. I know I will be keeping track of that full moon. Okay, so let's look at October. We're getting near the end. So October, what was it? 2nd. And this one is in the morning. All right. Oh, we finally get this really nice Libra moon in the 11th house. This is going to be great, guys. So your 11th house is all about your network, your social life, those people around you, your center of influence, where you and who you like to spend your time with, right? So this is a spacious time for friends and social activities. And this is where you can bring your hobbies together, where you can spend time together enjoying each other. And there's just a lot of a spaciousness here. It does happen frequently because it's also working with some other areas in your chart that meaning that you're going to be very, very social during this time. And you're looking for this in a place of balance and peace and harmony, right? You want it to be very like serene. Excuse me. Libra also affects our partnerships. So keep that in mind. Even though we're not seeing this energy in our 7th house, do keep in mind that this is definitely a partnership energy as well. And so as a couple, you might go out and have dinner with other people. It could be business meetings with your partner, whatever it ends up being. But definitely socializing and enjoying that, and art. This is going to be a really good time for that. Maybe you go find and discover a new band that you fall in love with. So that's October 2nd. There we go. And that one is also a super moon. And so is October 17th. So again, that's when the energy is very, very strong for us, because the literal planet is close to us. So when we're looking at this now, we go into the 5th house of Aries here. So when we're looking at the moon in Aries, the 5th house, holy crap, look at all those those aspects in the middle. We might be a little scattered in October, guys. It's going to be rough for anyone who doesn't like that. But this is definitely going to be about a really good time to be playful, You've got that energy of the fire sign again. It is your home. So you've got romance sparked up again, creativity, being juvenile, all those types of activities spark up again. You're in your home away from the world. And again, it's in the 5th house. So this could be some change again in transitions. There are a lot of aspects there. Just glancing at it, it looks like primarily in general, it's more about yourself than it is others in this scenario. But meaning like it might not be necessarily impact other people impacting you as much as you're taking everything internally. But this is a really good time with that Aries energy for new projects. So if you've been wanting to do any redecorating, renovating, construction, things like that, Aries is showing up for it. Be careful with yourself, because this is also a really good time to have injuries, because you also have so much going on there and a little bit of karma. So if you have been avoiding it, this is a good opportunity to have an injury. So be safe when you are hammering. And it is a really good time to look for new opportunities. So that's why this could be a transition again for somebody who is looking. Maybe you've been trying to conceive children. This is a good time. Maybe you've been looking for a new house. You might find it during this time. So that's like those types of opportunities around the 5th house, and that Aries energy are going to percolate up. You're going to be more driven and passionate to get those things closed out for the year. So, and usually in October, we see that kind of energy where we're seeing like kind of the year come to a close, and any of that stuff that was potential during the year will in October and November will be forced on you if you haven't dealt with it yet. And so keep that in mind. For me, hopefully I am not doing a remodel during that time. I still am working on last year's remodel. It'll be so pretty when it's done. Our shipment of supplies continues to be delayed, and we were planning to have it done by now. And this last week. And so we'll see how that goes.
It'll work. It'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully. November 1st. November 1st is going to be a new moon. This is not a super moon. It is much earlier in the morning. There we go. Okay, so now we've got it in the 2nd house and Scorpio. So when we're looking at this, again, we're coming back to that 2nd house stuff, possessions, things, the human experience, right? And so this is all definitely keep an eye on financial matters. And maybe this is also because you'll be spending, but this comes back into that Scorpio about comfort in our spending. And so as we're going inward, looking at our things and our possessions, we're looking at them from how do they align with my life, right? And the way I want things to be beautiful and harmonious and flow like water. That's the kind of Scorpio energy here. It's not the deep ocean. It's how does this come in and out easily with the tide? And so that's how we're going to be looking at this one. And that is going to be bringing in new items, rearranging things, and making sure that that's aligned. It's a big part of our identity and our communication here as well this time. I'd like to point out that we also have the sun right here, and these are very, very close together. So this is going to be very related to your identity. Some of you are going to completely avoid that part of it, and some of you are going to have to express that part of it. So that's November 1st. Now we have 3 moon transitions in November in 2024. So let's look at the full moon, and the full moon is on the 15th. And when we look at this full moon on the 15th, oh, wait, what time of day? Ooh, it is in the evening. Yep. Okay. So now we've got the moon in Taurus here in the 3rd house. So we are going to be looking at the communication again of the 3rd house, how we're communicating. And this is a full moon, right? And so there's some communication you've been doing and you're just like, man, I'm so over that, right? Get rid of it. This is a great time. But it's going to be very focused on listening and learning. It's going to be focused on another time. It's really good to negotiate during the 3rd house moon. And that Taurus is bringing in new routines, and it's not. It's again, because it's that earth sign, it's not a good time to start new activities, but it is a good time to be looking at what activities you can get rid of and consolidating. Kind of we were talking about with the businesses previously. So that's kind of what you're going to see here, but it's going to be a lot of communication. It's going to be impacting us in some areas of learning and our social life. Now let's go to the final November moon, and that is the 30th. What time of day is this one? Oh, that one's really late. Okay. We got a Sagittarius one. That's always fun. Okay, so with the Sagittarius in the fourth house, again, that's about our family, but it's about our family now, who our new family is, right? If you are younger, this is about your home life and the family you live with. And so say you're still living at home, that is still your family. Now, if you have moved out of home and you have your own family and your own life, I guess we just, for anyone who is on Instagram, sorry you lost it. Watch the rest of the video on YouTube or Facebook. I forgot that I was trying to keep it in an hour. We went over an hour, and Instagram cuts you off after an hour. It's a whole Instagram thing.
I think it's because we're doing the moons that it takes a little longer.
Yeah, true. Because we would have gotten through the year. Because previously I went month by month very quickly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's why we're good though, because we're trying to implement moon phases into our practices. So
Yep.
Here we are.
Yep, and it's going to work out. You'll see it's really great. Oh, yes, Brandy. Does the third one mean that it's a blue moon? Mm-hmm. Brandy knows her moons. Yes. And that's perfect because this is a supermoon, blue moon. I think I did forget to say that. So thanks for bringing it up, Brandy. So in this case, being in the Sagittarius, it's about that expansion. It's about experiencing things, trying things, taking new ways of doing things, right? And so you're going to be able to like achieve more than you normally would because you're so expansive right now. Your brain is, you're ready for it, you're seeking it. And so you're going to be able to learn a lot, and you're also going to have a lot of different experiences. Now, I would like to point out that also we've got a square, like a full square going on in here. So what this means is like this energy is definitely coming across everywhere. This is touching our relationships. This is touching our public life. This is touching our identity. And they're all working together in this. And so for you and how this shows up in your chart, get your actual chart and map a transit with it or contact me, because this particular aspecting can leave you sometimes in a point of no action or too much action. Also, you want to find out in your chart where this pattern starts. Where's the strongest planet and placement at this time, and then you follow the trail from there to figure out how it unfolds for you. Okay, so that was November 30th. I think I covered all of it. Yeah, I did. Okay, now let's go into our final month. Let's go into December 15th. And this is at 1 a.m. Okay, so we've got the moon in Gemini here in the 9th house. This one's going to have some creativity with it too. I kind of like that. And it's going to impact also our daily lives, our home life, and our communication, especially with that stationary Mercury at the same time. Okay, so when we're looking at that, and if you didn't see that, for those, I just realized I read that all very fast. So the 6th house has got some aspects. You also got some aspects with the 5th house. You also got some aspects with the 3rd house, and the Mercury is stationary. That's what the S means right here. Okay, so when we're going back to the moon being in the 9th house, this is about broadening our horizons. So this could be a situation where we're expanding our mind through learnings of new experiences, a little different than Sagittarius. Sagittarius has more of that spontaneity and that playfulness. This is about learning. And so it could be through school, it could be through books, it could be through travel, it could be through new relationships, it could be through a lot of things. But this is more distant, long-term learning that you're going to invoke on or step into. And when you're doing this, you're looking to broaden your mind for new ideas. You're hungry for change. And so when you're doing this, take the opportunity and all the opportunities that come along. Don't shut any of them down. Look at where they're taking you. I mean, obviously use discernment for like your general life, but for the most part, a lot of opportunities are going to come your way, and make sure you're communicating a lot as well during this time. Let's go on to the last moon phase. And that is the 30th, but this one is in the evening. Well, afternoon, I guess. Let's see. Okay. So we have an 8th house moon. That's nice. Okay, 8th house moon in Capricorn. When we're looking at the 8th house, this is the traditional like skeletons in the closet. It is about like things that you don't like that are taboo to talk about. It's not that case anymore in today's world. We talk about all the taboo things. Their TMI is a real thing, but no one cares anymore. So when we're looking at this, this is mainly going to be focused on money because of that Capricorn. And so again, we see our finances coming up this year. It could be very auspicious for you. Now also look at this as the foundation and pattern of life. This is when we're going to see some life changes. We might be seeing some people leave our life during this time, and which would also potentially invoke that financial piece from inheritances. Or maybe I know like some people will like actually like at this time of year purge their finances for any like charities, giving, gifts, things like that, for tax reasons and all kinds of things. So keep that in mind. This is also a time that has been about, gosh, there's that word I keep looking for. And you know, as soon as we end this live, I'm going to remember it. But it's mainly going to be talking about like metaphysical things. And so you might be wanting to be drawn more towards death topics, which people still feel uncomfortable talking about. Finances, some people feel very still much so talking about uncomfortable. So those types of topics are going to be coming up. And so when you're looking at these and you're looking at your life foundation, seeing how these things impact you, because these are things that are going to happen to you. It's not going to be in your control. Keep that in mind and keep the doors open, but make sure as you're doing your planning, you're creating some very solid plans. So, that was the year in review. Thank you everyone for being here. This was amazing. I didn't mean for it to go so long, but I appreciate you being here. And now you have seen 2024. It's going to be finances, relationships, and a lot of auspiciousness and getting life in a new order.
The word for the year is auspicious.
It really is actually, which is amazing. We're going into an election year. We also are having so much go on with our economy. The interest rate is skyrocketing. And at the same time, with all that happening, it's just saying, keep an eye on your finances, keep close to those who are important to you, continue to expand. Everything will be auspicious. And I think that that's beautiful because we have not had an auspicious reading like this auspicious in a long time. And so I'm here for it, man. I'm so here for it.
It sounds great. I think that it's really going to set all of us up for a good direction.
Yes.
And be able to accept the change, just like the moon phases, because we start with it's like we're starting with the topic. It's all about us, and we need to keep the focus even as we're in the middle and chaos is coming in, and we're buttoning up really, really well. And like, okay, well, can't be that bad, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're really gonna anything that comes our way this year, it looks like we're going to be able to, as long as we've put the tools and systems and methods and processes in place, which I said like back in 2019, I was like, and all through 2020, it was so strong about now is the time. You're recreating, everything was being recreated, right? And so now we can start seeing like, okay, I've done all this growth. It's time for me to move into it. And I think that that's what's really cool about this. There are some things like even something as simple as like for me, I had switched to an Apple Watch. I have tried it for almost 3 years now. I'm going to just say I hate it. So I finally went and got my regular watch back. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I love you so much, my little automatic. And yes, it's not always accurate, but I don't care. Like I love this watch. So anyways, it'll be a time to go, okay, I've done a lot of growing. Now where am I gonna put all of that? So all right. Well, have a great year. Thanks for joining me.
Happy New Year. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.